What's up and welcome back. I'm John Stark from MacTheMovieGuy.com, your favorite blind film critic. And today it's another anniversary. It's one that you probably weren't, didn't know you were going to celebrate this year, but it's the 25th anniversary of the My Favorite Martian movie that was released, back in 1999. So yeah, let's talk about it. I'm John Stark from MacTheMovieGuy.com, your favorite blind film critic. This movie does have audio description on Disney Plus, which is one of the reasons I wanted to talk about it. Another reason was I actually did see this in 1999. I've seen most of the films of 1999. This is one of the ones I didn't see, and I was intrigued. Always there's always that feeling like, did I miss out on something great? Did I miss out on greatness here? Uh, so it stars Jeff Daniels, Christopher Lloyd, Elizabeth Hurley. We've got Daryl Hannah. Wallace Shawn is in here. And of course, there are some cameos from original cast members of the TV show as well. So it's not what I thought it would be. I thought it was going to be really stupid. I don't really remember this thing being a hit, and I kind of expected this to be fundamentally like awful, just like waiting for my approval. It's not the only 1999 Disney film that I've revisited this year, and Inspector Gadget is still objectively terrible as a film. This is actually a little bit better. It was watchable. I watched it from beginning to end. I don't have the same connection to the TV series though, so I can't tell you like, is this a good adaptation of the series? Is the series better? I'm just going to always lean on the fact that probably the series was better, and this is just a perfectly fine watchable adaptation, especially if you've never seen the TV show, which, let's face it, it's 25 years since this movie. Most people haven't seen this movie, let alone the TV show. So, even though it's available to stream, I've seen it like on Peacock and some places like that. So, not with audio description, but it's still floating. So, if you want to catch up on a 1960s TV show, by all means, you have the ability. So, what's it about? Well, Jeff Daniels is a guy that unfortunately becomes the guy that runs into this Martian that's landed here. And the Martian seems to have like a skin suit that has its own personality, which reminds me a lot of Flubber. How like they thought Flubber was going to be a thing, and they were like, oh my god, people are going to love Flubber, which came out, I believe, like the year before this, or 2 years before this. It was either 97, 98. So it wouldn't surprise me that this was already sort of in motion, where they were like, oh, but what if like this alien suit thing had a life of its own? So it kind of has a little bit of that. But when he's presenting as an alien, it's usually Christopher Lloyd. Although with the suit on, he can present as somebody else. Like in one scene, he does pretend to be Jeff Daniels. To hide out on Earth, he goes by Martin instead of Martian. So his name is Martin. And he doesn't really fully understand English customs, which is the joke a lot of times. So, I don't know. He's funny here. Christopher Lloyd it's a predictably funny Christopher Lloyd performance. Nowadays, when we get Christopher Lloyd popping up in things, it's just like a stark reminder that pretty soon we won't have Christopher Lloyd anymore. So it's nice to see him have the energy to actually give a full performance in film. Jeff Daniels, also back when he was still doing comedy. Boy, he was a serious actor now. He's his poor series, American Rust, got canceled. But other than that, and I haven't seen Elizabeth Hurley in forever. I don't know what happened to her, but she she did like a cable show, and then after that, after I feel like she fell off the face of the planet. Daryl Hannah, I think, walked away. If I'm correct, I think she's somebody who made that choice in life. She didn't just stop getting gigs; she actually just chose to go do something else with her life. Um, and Wallace Shawn, yeah, he still pops up from time to time in things, and I still adore him. I adore Wallace Shawn. Um, I started watching Young Sheldon, and somebody was like, "Why are you watching Young Sheldon?" I was like, "Did you know Wallace Shawn was on this?" I feel like people, it's such like a nerdy response to that, but um, people when I follow actors, so like when I find out somebody's on something, and I'm like, "Did you know?" He's not even the lead, but he's in quite a bit, at least as far as I've gone into the series. He's still. I've not finished Young Sheldon. Don't tell me how it ends. That's a joke. So, yeah, I like Wallace Shawn, and he plays sort of like the villain here. I don't know. I don't know if anybody really plays a villain here. It's hard to tell. Uh, there isn't really like a full on, at the ending, everybody kind of has like a, wow, we've seen the error in our ways sort of type of thing. Um, but it's fun. It's fine. It didn't offend me, but then again, I'm not a fan of the TV series because I didn't watch it. I feel like I used to watch a lot of Nick at Night when I was a little kid, and this just wasn't one of the things that was in rotation. You can get me into like a Green Acres movie or something like that, but I don't know. They didn't play My Favorite Martian, so I've seen Bewitched and I Dream of Jeannie, and so I have like a lot of points of references for most of these things. But My Favorite Martian just didn't seem to be, at least when I was watching Nick at Night, didn't seem to be a TV series that floated through there. So maybe I guess it wasn't their favorite Martian. So yeah, Mr. Ed and all those other TV series at least have passing references of a whole bunch of things that were made before I was born. But um, oddly enough, not this. It's very weird. One day I'll probably seek it out. Maybe for the next time I'll come back around on the 50th anniversary of this movie, and I'll have greater concepts and thought. God, I'll be so old by then. Uh, anyway, yeah. Audio description, I liked it. It's pretty typical for Disney. Light stuff. Keep it light. Focus on the main points. It's not gonna blow you away at the end of the day, but he does a lot of like quirky little things, personality wise, that have to be brought up, and the fact that the skin thing is like doing its own thing sometimes, like his alien. I don't know how even know how to describe it. It sounds like a skin suit. It sounds like the kind of thing you wouldn't want your kids to. I have a feeling it's perfectly fine for kids because it's a Disney movie. Um, but it seems to have at least some sort of a personality of its own. So, um, yep. So that's My Favorite Martian. Uh, you can check it out on Disney Plus, and or not. I don't think your life will be changed either way. But it was better than I thought it was going to be. It's still not a great movie. It's just better than I thought it was going to be. So, um, it's totally watchable. The plot is kind of non-existent, but it's just kind of like, let's get through this movie. Okay. like, um, but it's not. I'm not gonna. I'm gonna give this a light thumbs up, and I'm gonna say I'm gonna give My Favorite Martian a C plus, because I wouldn't if I was filling out my tomato meter on older films, I would give this a fresh and bump it. It would probably bump it up a little bit. So yeah, I don't. I think objectively there are some films that are not good and don't feel like they had the time spent on them. And in the Inspector Gadget movie, which made far more money at the box office, feels so weird. And it felt weird at the time, and it felt weird today. Like it felt, and watching it 25 years later, this actually just feels like a comedy from 1999. Like it hasn't really lost a whole lot of luster to it. It just kind of It's like, yep. But for some reason, Inspector Gadget movie is on like a completely different level because they decided to put Matthew Broderick in that role, and it just never worked, and it still doesn't work 25 years later. So at least everybody here seems to be well cast. So, and Wallace Shawn and Christopher Lloyd, like legends. So, all right, I'm wrapping it up. Thanks for watching. Thanks for subscribing. I'll see you guys on the other side.